I was thinking about a concert I went to, Eddie Murphy, and he said that as he came into Portland, his tour bus stopped at a street corner, and there was nobody else around except this one crazy guy, a crazy homeless-looking guy on a street corner, just screaming out gibberish into the night air. Nobody around to hear him, and he's talking as loud as he possibly can. And Eddie said, wouldn't it be a trip if, like, one day he was just out there going, oh, la, 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 and all of a sudden just kind of snapped out of it, like, what in the world? You kind of start looking around, like, why am I on this street corner? You know, like, oh my God, look at these clothes. And like, oh my, I could smell myself. Oh man, I gotta go get cleaned up. You know, like what a trip that would be. Like, you know, what had happened to me? You know, what went wrong in my life that led me to being on the street corner, and now all of a sudden I'm free to walk away. And here's what I think, like, wouldn't it be a trip if that person did not walk away from that street corner? Like, you know, no sense in trying to go get a new set of clothes now, you know, until I have a place to stay, or, you know, no sense in getting my new clothes dirty until I start finding a job and then I get some clean clothes to wear for my work. Like, what if you didn't walk away from the street corner? What if, like, whatever cage was all around you is lifted away and you have wings, but you're like, well, I don't really need to fly right now. I'm glad I have the opportunity to fly. Now, like, part of me understands why somebody would do that. Like, sometimes who we are, our past defines who we are. And sometimes we think, well, something so big happened in our past, well, that's a real defining moment for me, rather than just a small facet of who you are as a whole. And some people want you to know that. They want you to know that one thing that happened. And you wonder, like, and what is your point is, like, why are you telling me this? Like, you know, to everybody around you, actually, if you hadn't mentioned that, it doesn't seem like a giant part of your life. What seems like it's a giant part of your life because it seems like you're carrying this memory, this past event with you. You're dragging it into the future, and you want everybody to see it. When really, like, it would be, hey, Keela, let's go this way, bud. Really, it'd be an excellent opportunity to let it go. And I have personal experience with that. Like, at one point in time, my friends and family helped me deal through with this crisis, and I realized it was, you know, so long ago. I realize now that nobody that I know from like the last 10 years knows that this crisis happened in my life. And I remember kind of like being aware of that. Somebody said something that reminded me of that time in my life, and my first thought was like, do they know that happened to me once? And I'm like, no, the answer was no, they don't know, because I remember actually leaving that behind. I suddenly realized, like, there was a part of my mind actually that almost said, you know, should I tell people that, should I tell, like, you know, is this something I should confide with my friends? Hey, you know what, this terrible thing happened to me once. But not for any other reason other than to haul that memory along with me and share it with others, so other people could, I don't know, look at it and marvel. But that's the thing. It's like, you know, if you're on the street corner and you've been completely out of your head for years, you've been standing on the street corner babbling nonsense, and now you could walk away, you might just say to yourself, like, you know, well, what else do I know? I go walk away and I'm just like some sort of, I'm a dirty guy with no past experience other than this. Like someone says, hey, what you been up to lately? You could say, oh, nothing much this last week, but, you know, for several years before that, I stood on a street corner and spouted out gibberish. And they'd be like, oh, well, all right. You know, but like if that week turns into a year, turns into several years, if all that you are was that, well, I used to stand on a street corner and babbling gibberish, you know, what, like, Well, why didn't you spend the time in between when you stopped babbling and now, to make something of your life that is a little bit more positive, a little bit more you, a little less unavoidable, uncontrollable circumstances, and a little bit more of how you define your freedom. Now that you have the freedom to walk away from that street corner, that would be what's interesting. What did you do after that point? It is weird that you could get attached to something negative, but it's weirder still to not be able to let it go, especially when it's over.